Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a super exciting game between EmpireKas and Ouga. Ouga is the red Protoss player and Kas is the blue Terran player up in the top left, and the map is of course Shakura's Plateau. This is a ladder game and boy is it going to be good. These are two awesome players. Kas is, when I checked, is currently ranked number 1 GM, so awesome player. And Ouga, again another great player we've got here as well. So this should be a fantastic game. Just quickly before we go on, I know a couple of my recent videos have had a weird interference kind of beeping noise. It sounds like a phone. I really have no clue what caused that. It wasn't on the original recordings. I went over and checked that, so there was something a bit funky going on there, but it should all be fine now. I'm not too worried. I'm going to double triple check this before I upload it, so I do apologise for that. It doesn't actually stay for long, it just does it occasionally. Really peculiar. Anyway, if we take a look at Ouga, just going for a fairly standard build here, nothing too crazy going on. Neither is it for Kas at the moment. If we just take a look, both players are doing everything pretty much by the book. There's a nice wall off going up here for Kas. Ouga not walling off at all, not that he particularly needs to against a Terran player. So, I mean, this should go into a nice long game. I know a couple of my recent games actually have been kind of shorter games, and there's been mixed opinions on those. Some people have really loved them, some people only like to see kind of the long macro games. And I mean, to be honest, no matter what kind of player you are, I think it's good you do see both kinds of game, because you are going to get games when you play yourself which are short, where someone does do an all-in, where you're going to have to cope with something a bit stressful, and to be honest, it really tests you as a player, that, and it shows you the importance of scouting, because any all-in, no matter what stage of the game it comes at, generally it's easy to defend as long as you know that it is going to be coming. Whereas if you don't scout, if you get a bit complacent, then you just die. And I mean, from an entertainment point of view, a lot of people don't like that because it's not close, but to the same extent it just is a great learning opportunity to look at what could go wrong. And ultimately I think if things go really wrong, it's a much better way to learn than if things only you don't really know what happened. Because I mean, if something goes terrible, if you die to say a 2 Stargate rush as a Zerg player, you know you need more queens or more anti-air earlier on, you know you need to scout for that. Whereas if you get into sort of a 35-minute game and you kind of lost, you both were maxed out, and you just didn't quite have enough of something, and oh, what happened? It can be really hard to identify where you need to improve. So I mean, even in games you get on the ladder like that, make sure you do look at what is going on. Now, I mean, not much has really happened here. I mean, Kas is just poking around with this SCV. Obviously, he's got a tech lab coming down there, got 2 barracks out, so we're probably going to see some Marauders out pretty quickly. He has got this 1 gas here. Actually saved up quite a bit of gas already. He got that quite early. Meanwhile, Ouga, he has also got out a simulator, kind of boosting out this warp gate tech, and also getting a very early expansion. This is a 1 gate expand down here as well, so as long as he can defend that without taking too many losses early on, he should be absolutely fine. Now there's this 1 Zealot, and the supply evo does go up just in time. Nothing was lost there. I mean, Ouga just getting a good bit of scouting information from that. I don't think he saw this tech lab, and we have got concussive shell going down, so this could be actually quite a lot of pressure put on by Kas very early on. We have got 2 more gateways on the way now for Ouga. Obviously he has got that 1 Stalker out. His Nexus expansion is pretty much about to finish up, so he's pretty safe there. Meanwhile, EmpireKas not showing any signs of looking to expand yet, and he is aware of this base down here, I do believe. If we take a quick look, yeah, he does know that that is there, so Kas is aware that that expansion's out, so it looks like he's actually going to be putting some pressure on in order to deal with this. We have got quite a nice sizable force here. Obviously concussive shells has finished, combat shield is on the way. It doesn't actually look like Kas is going to wait, and he's bringing 3 SCVs along, so Kas is really committing to this attack, and to be honest, it could do quite a lot at the moment. I mean, warp gate has finished now, and there are those 3 gates, so if it depends all on how long Kas decides to wait to push. If he can get in quickly before the next kind of warp in round, he should be fine. But that probe time brilliantly will scout this coming, and obviously now Ouga is able to prepare for this. He's getting some more warpings going. He is a bit low on money though, and this all really depends on how he does defend this, how this game is going to go, to be honest. I mean, if too much damage is taken, great kiting being done here by Kas, just using that concussive shell to prevent the Zealots from getting in range of the Marines and getting us around. So real minimal damage, and look at how low those Zealots are getting on HP. And I mean, they're all going to get taken out pretty damn easily. This is a great push. Meanwhile, that one Zealot has taken out the SCV, so the bunker will go down. Didn't actually get cancelled there either, so a bit of a loss there for Kas. Meanwhile, though, he is just marching in, and I mean, this is just how powerful concussive shell is. It just prevents the Zealots from getting in range, which means really Stalker's the only threat. And a lot of probes are going down here, and so is a lot of losses for Ouga as a whole. And again, just Kas doing a great job of kind of stutter-step micro with those Marines and Marauders, but all the Marauders have been taken out, so Kas has to be a bit careful here because he could take a lot of damage, but another Marauder is on the way, so that concussive shell obviously vitally important. Combat shield is finished as well, so just a couple more Stalkers are getting picked off, and this is just great work. Kas focusing down on those probes now, getting his own expansion back up actually at his base as well, so a great little move. A lot of early pressure, but it's not an all-in. He's expanding behind it, and that's exactly what all players should be doing. And Ouga has managed to clean this up now, but if we take a look at the loss tab, I mean, 600 more resources lost there for Ouga, and at this stage of the game, that is quite significant. If we take a look, workers killed, 11 workers have been killed to just the 3 SCVs of Kas, and Kas just dropping down a bunker, going into a more defensive play, holding this watchtower. I love this. You always should be aiming to hold those watchtowers. A robotic facility on the way for Ouga as well now. Just chrono boosting out more probes, getting more warpins going, so everything pretty standard. And what can we learn from this? Kas is doing this aggression, expanding behind. There is nothing wrong with that at all. It's not cheesy. It's preventing your opponent from getting into a nice build order. And as long as you do damage, as Kas did there, it is very, very easy to come back from. I mean, mules help a lot, so for Terran it's very, very effective. But also, if you look, Kas has already got 2 of his key upgrades out. Stim is 3/4 done as well. And, I mean, he did damage. He put Ouga under pressure, and that's going to affect Ouga's performance later on in this game as well. The 3rd and 4th gas are now down for Ouga. Meanwhile, Kas is just on 2 gas still, getting a reactor on this factory and a starport as well, so we'll see those probably switch over, I would imagine, just to get a nice lot of medevacs out, and we'll see a Marine Marauder medevac build come out of Kas, which of course is very, very effective. And here we go again. Kas looks like he's going to be going back in to try and put on some more pressure. This observer will actually be able to see it, and will get that scout off, which is great, great timing. Obviously though, it all depends how Kas decides to go for this. This observer will be able to see absolutely everything that is going on, but Kas just needs to move out and has to be careful not to get his army split by those force fields. Obviously 2 sentries there could split this army. The great scan there, picking off that observer as well. A 3rd sentry in there now, so I mean, Kas has to be just extremely careful with what he does. Meanwhile, he's just floating this factory forward for the scouting position, getting out 2 more barracks there, double medevacs, and just choosing to move back as well. So I think that's wise. Kas just poking, looking to see if there's an opportunity there to do some damage, but likewise not overcommitting. Meanwhile, a lot of gateways coming down, double forge and the robo bay for Ouga, so we should actually be seeing some good upgrades. Upgrade wise for Kas, he's getting that +1 infantry weapons, only single upgrades at a time, and loading up for a drop now. This could be very, very effective. There's not any form of kind of static defense, and all of Ouga's army is currently at the front of his base. And just taking a quick glance, there's nothing here that's going to scout it either. There's no... Actually, having said that, here goes that observer. Is going to move up, and will it actually get that scout off? That could be huge if it does. And there we go. I think that, yep, that definitely is in range now. So it all depends whether Ouga does react quickly enough. And I don't... He must have been looking somewhere else, because it looks like he hasn't actually pulled back his army yet. And here we go. The drop is on its way down now. Going to be able to pick off a couple more probes, and this is just great. It's really putting Ouga out of his stride. And I mean, any probes you do get at this stage, and here we go, Ouga actually moving all his probes forward, and that was a bit of a misstep there. Takes out a couple more, and absolutely nothing went down there for Kas either. Meanwhile, Kas just marching up to the front, and this is great. He's forced Ouga to pull some of his army back, and can now do some damage at the front at the same time. Is going to lose a couple of units himself, but I mean, nothing compared to the damage that is being done. There's a drop going on simultaneously in the main as well. A lot of Ouga's army is out of position. More probes are going down. Meanwhile, the front, again, these stalkers are going to go down from Marauders. Some more zealots being walked in as well. Back in the main base, and I think this drop is going to get cleaned up now, but it did quite a bit of damage. Only 2 Marines, or possibly a Marauder, were taken down in that main. And these 2 Marauders will now go down. There's no way they can get away from that Stalker, I don't think. I mean, Kas not sending anything else forward. I mean, it all depends whether Ouga does pull back or whether just chases them down. And here we go. There is another Marauder there, though, and that could be in a bit of danger, but should be able to take down the Zealot first. Possibly just not quite. But here we go. Kas moving back in with some more units from that medevac. And, I mean, Kas playing really, really well here. Look at that. Double the resources lost for Ouga. Kas being so cost effective. Meanwhile, he has his 3rd base down as well. That's brilliant. This drop coming into the natural base as well now. And I mean, already, Kas has killed 28 probes already, but the first Colossus is out on the field now. And that will force Kas to move back. And he doesn't actually manage to get many picked up there. I mean, quite a few Marines did fall, but Kas taking a good lead. And if we take, look, 30 workers killed to 3. This is great, great harassment, and it's just really preventing Ouga getting up a good number of works. I mean, it's already 49 to 53 now. And obviously, Kas does have this 3rd base out, and Ouga's still on 2 bases. Ouga does have +1/1 done, and I mean, Kas has +1, and is getting +1 infantry armor down as well. Just a couple of Marauders and a Marine down there. Meanwhile, that medevac is going to take a bit of damage. I don't think it did any damage. Just taking a quick look. No workers were killed there. I mean, there's just so much going on, and this is a great move here. Using the medevac to get vision of the high ground will allow Kas to take out that gas. And obviously that could be a big win if he does manage to, but just surviving 16 HP, that's a shame for Kas there. He could have done a lot there. Meanwhile, I mean, if we just take a look around, we have got a couple of Colossus standing up here, just guarding the main base with a couple of units, and the extended thermal lance on the way. This observer just getting a lot of key scouting information just to see what Kas is doing. Meanwhile, just another starport, another barracks there as well. That 2nd engineering bay not actually being used at the moment. This 3rd base so well saturated, slightly oversaturated. Kas could happily take these extra 2 gases with the number of SCVs he has. And if we take a look, it's 57 to 59. So amazingly, Ouga has managed to catch up in terms of probe numbers. But I mean, look at this saturation. Way oversaturated as natural, and even his main base is a little bit oversaturated. So he needs to take that 3rd base, and if Ouga doesn't take that quickly, he's going to be in a lot of problems, because Kas obviously has this 3rd base, now just getting his 4th as well. So this is absolutely a great position for Kas right now, and he's gearing up for a big drop here. This is 3 medevacs worth, and I don't actually know if this army in the main base can deal with that. Meanwhile, there's a big amount of movement going on in the middle. Could be an army clash, but no, it looks like Kas just going to pull back and allow Ouga to try and get that 3rd up. But these medevacs are coming down, and this will force the cancel on this 3rd if he does decide to go in, or may actually just try and get us around. That looks like what he's going to do. Just moving in, and I mean, this is not a good position here. A couple of Vikings are out for Kas as well. Some great force fields though, just trying to block this off, but obviously that Colossus is going to fall. That is a big loss, and this 3rd base will force a cancel. Great play by Kas, really pulling ahead now. Didn't actually get the cancel off there, so that was a big loss there for Ouga, and not a position he wants to be in. He's already under-resourced compared to that of Kas, so wants to save anything he can, have cost-effective engagements, and Kas just pulling back, and I do like that. I think it's very wise not to overcommit. He possibly could have taken that army, but he has no need to. He's delayed that 3rd base. His 4th base has just finished now, and he's just in such a dominating position. Meanwhile, Ouga, I mean, just look at this. He's starting to get low on minerals now at this main base, and his natural base is so heavily oversaturated that it's not a great position to be in. And Kas just getting out quite a lot of Vikings to deal with those Colossi, and I mean, upgrades wise, it's 2-2 with 3-3 on the way, so great double upgrades by Ouga, and I mean, that's actually letting him get ahead of Kas in upgrades. Kas just getting +2 infantry attack out, +2 infantry armor only just starting, so we'll actually be behind in the upgrades. But I mean, Kas has just got so much stuff and so much income now, and those Vikings moving forward will just force those Colossus to move backwards more, and all of their shields have been taken out on 2 of them, so Ouga has to be really careful with what he does here. Meanwhile, I mean, this SCV just poking around. I thought that might have been a medevac giving a quick look, but Kas just coming down to scout this 3rd, to be honest, just to see, are there any more bases down, because if this is only his 3rd base going down now, Kas knows he's in an amazing position, and just kind of spreading out really nicely. And here comes the probe transfer. A couple of stalkers moving forward. That one Marine valiantly going to try and put up a fight. Will die though. And Holy command center, Kas. I'm guessing they're all going to become planetary fortresses just to make him as safe as they can be. And we've got huge engagement coming on here. I mean, this is absolutely massive. If we just take a look at... I mean, I think Kas has pretty much got this now. He has cleaned that up so nicely. Such a big supply lead. And there we go. There is the GG. So absolutely great play there by Kas. And just shows that just aggression early on can really prevent your opponent from getting that foothold in economy he needs to survive the late game. And playing safely, just poking and prodding, can do massive amounts of damage. So I hope you did enjoy that game. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and also follow me on Twitter. Also, for those of you who don't know, I am a feature caster on GameReplays.org, so go and check out their StarCraft 2 portal. It is amazing. So I hope you did enjoy, and tune in again. Bye for now.